So Jaguar Wright brought up a very good, valid point on her live this morning on in regards to the Vivica A. Fox and 50 Cent saga that has come and back into the forefront. That's never left the discussion. So a young Vivica A. Fox was speaking at a merit of her charity events for young women in Hollywood who have dreams to be in the arts or go towards their entrepreneurial girl boss idealistic dreams, right? They asked of Vivica A. Fox. You know Vivica A. Fox. You know, she's been acting since a long time. She got her start on such shows like I believe she did she was like she was on like The Fresh Prince. Before that, she was on like Melrose Place. She was like really, really, she was there. Of course, we know her from the iconic Kill Bill when she crossed over to the, audience. We know her from Set It Off and all the movies. Who Can Play That Game? All those things. But certainly a leading lady. I believe she played on Curb Your Enthusiasm for the she's a good crossover. I love about Vivica. Got her series on Lifetime. She's gonna keep a Lifetime movie. She has a whole Lifetime franchise along with her wig line. Very successful, very successful. So that's a person you would want to ask about advice in going towards the arts industry, or So she was asked, what advice would you have to give a younger woman? She sat there, took a breath. She said, do not date 50 Cent or do not date any rappers. And then the crowd cheered and they clapped because we remember, we'll never forget, 22 years ago at the BET Awards when 50 Cent got on that stage. He could have accepted his award and moved on, but what he did was pointed out his crush. And now looking back on it, I think he kind of prayed and love bombed on her. Wait a minute, let me finish. Wait a minute, let me finish. She was 38 years old. She had just gotten her boob implants. I remember because she wore that revealing outfit. It was like a big thing. Like, oh my God. It was that like, oh my God, when you turn 40, you're going to be old and your life's going to be over. So like in the late 30s, approaching 40s, they was really, they was really being there. Vivica was not married. And all her peers at that time, like, the Smiths and all them people, they was married and stuff. Vivica was still single. When that man pointed her out, he was in like the height of his career. I remember he was wearing that fucking gray suit with that fucking pimp hat, everything. I remember everything. And then he'll be like, yeah, I got a crush on Vivica or something. And I remember, everybody remember that camera, boom, it panned to her so quick. And she looked so happy. Like she ain't never heard that a day in her life. But that is also something to explore because she was just too dang unhappy. But it was cute. We was like, oh, nice. Give a point out to Vivica. That's sweet. I mean, like, who wouldn't that be like your crush? You like a dude that's like around that age. You was crushing on Vivica A. Fox, Nia Long, Sanaa Lathan, the holy trifecta, right? So that's not Angela Bassett. That's not surprising for him to say that. What was more surprising is that he would go on to date her. And what was even more surprising, so super surprising, is that she would believe that it was a real relationship. 50 Cent was a rapper. You were an accredited actress. But that was like, it brought her back to life. You can tell for them short 2 months, maybe 3, she carried herself with such an air of da-da-da-da-da. But he was riding her coattail. She would go on to do Kill Bill. I think she did it before that, though, because I don't remember the boob implants on the Kill Bill, but she was wearing that hoodie. But no, I think the tits came after because she got the Quentin Tarantino money to get them. And then, but I could be wrong. It was 22 years ago. I was like 14 years old. I don't remember. But what I do remember is like last week when that question was asked and how there was 2 visceral reactions from women and from men. All the men. You know what they did. Google.com, www.google.com. Vivica A. Fox when she was younger. Vivica A. Fox in Kill Bill. Vivica A. Fox in Set It Off. And you know what they did? They brought up comparison pictures to the Vivica A. Fox of last week versus the Vivica A. Fox of 22 years ago. That's a big measuring stick to measure a woman from, right? So then the man was like, "Oh my God, Vivica, you are so stupid. You are so lame. Look how she looks and all this shit. Look how she looked. Oh, like she chopped and all this stuff and all this stuff." Now, come on, we can be honest. Are there block surgeries in Hollywood? Of course there is. Of course, of course. It's something to see them on a screen. It's another thing to see them up close. I don't recommend that on my worst enemies. So yeah, she did have block surgeries. We know. We know this. We know this. We can look at her and say, obviously, she does not look the way she looked 22 years ago. The Hollywood standard of beauty, oh my God, I don't even pretend to know what they have to go through, right? So then you would think 50 Cent, because she's rung up him over the 22 years since they break up, and she would bring it up, and every time it's a low gutter snipe. He always gonna hear where it hurts. He did the same thing this time. It wasn't like a slap in the face, but it definitely was like a muff like that. He said something into the tune of, "Woo, baby girl, I got love for you, and you know, in the next life we'll be together. But sheesh or whoosh, you got to get over it. It's been 22 years." And here's the thing. He could have handled her with grace, and he could have been like, "Wow," this is what Jaguar said. You know, to like actually think of me after all this time. Wow, I must have made an impact on your life. Wow. I'm so happy that you would bring me up. Da da da. Wow, like you know, best wishes to you. He could have really cleaned it up and given her grace and like saved her. But he didn't do that. He reminded everybody, well, shit, it has been 20 years since you got on that BET stage, pointed her out, love bombed her, and played her. But furthermore, what have you done after her? You went on to impregnate a lady that was a dumpster cum bucket for the Diddy Doo Wop, the Bebop, the Doo Wop Wop. So even though she has block surgeries and she doesn't look like the Daphne cum bucket toilet girl look, she's still better. So it's like, yeah, 50, you really thought you was like reading that and you really thought you could come for her, but she's still Vivica A. Fox. Her resume, look at her resume and look at Daphne Joy's 50 Cent's baby's mama's resume. And that's when you have to remind, it has to be a hard reminder. Also, it is something very homosexual, homoerotic about a man that will. Okay, so here's the thing. He says, okay, P. Diddy offered to take me shopping, you know. What did you do to give? See, Puff Daddy been around a lot of straight men. A lot. He don't just offer to take them shopping. He heard something, you did something, you gave information that you swing that way. Because 50 Cent, come on, sir. And it takes, I know, man, y'all like think, oh, he is so cunning, he is so witty. Oh my God, 50 Cent is gonna read them. 50 Cent is sassy, he is zesty, he is feminine. Men do not act like that. Oh, I gotta snap back. What am I gonna say? That reads as what we used to call homo thug. He's a homo thug. And that cover of that magazine with Soldier Boy, a young soldier, you know, Soldier Boy tell him, you know, was standing in front of a masked, oiled up 50 Cent, very a prison pose of sorts. This is his new boy, as their pants was hanging off their ass. The way 50 Cent have vitriol towards women, the way he like go, he's the same thing like Diddy. His shit just ain't hit him yet. Allegedly, I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, so crazy. I don't know. I'm just clearly delusional. Everything I said was alleged. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just heard you know what? I heard Jaguar Wright saying it, and I'm just obviously slow. I do not know how to read. I do not know how to write, and I do not know how to do arithmetic. I also do not know how to speak English. Allegedly. Bye.